Good afternoon, everyone out there in YouTube land. My name is Jared. This is my channel, Mazda B3K. And in this particular episode, we're going to do a drain and fill and filter replacement on the transmission of my 2001 Ford F250 named Miss Mildew. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so give you a zoom out. This is your transmission pan. And if we were just doing a drain and fill, you could use this lovely drain bolt here, and that would be that. But we need to do a drain and a filter swap, so the whole pan's got to come off. But what we will do is, since we do have a drain bolt, we're going to go ahead and drain out as much as we can, and then we'll go ahead and drop the pan, and we'll go ahead from there and we'll swap the filter. So eyeballing it, I'm going to say that's like a 14 or a 15 right there. I need to get the tooling in check, and I'll bring you. Alrighty, turns out this is a 13, so I've already loosened it up. Make sure that you've got a pan in position. I use these. Make sure you got your bleeder open so that it'll burp. And
I'm about to pull the dipstick so it can breathe.
Yep, you can also do that. That helps. So I'm going to go ahead and continue loosening this. Make sure you got a pan in position. And here we go. Now, the whole reason why I'm doing this is that my Overdrive has a lot of vibration to it. And what I read was that it's probably time for a drain and fill and change the filter. This fluid looks good, but I also know recently we added a couple of quarts when I brought this thing back to life, but it still had fluid in it that is of unknown age, unknown quality. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some known good. This truck uses what is now called Merc, or what used to be called Merc 3 for the automatic transmission. And so that's what's going to go in. We'll let this finish draining, and then we'll work on dropping the pan. Alrighty guys, I let it drain down until it was just drops falling, and then I put drain plug back in. And so now we're to the actual pan bolts. They are a 10 millimeter. And you just kind of, some of them may be tight, some of them might be a little looser. I'm trying to use this auto ratchet to help me out here. Like that. And then you repeat that process. I think it's like 20 times or so. And then you should be able to wiggle the pan down. So I'll bring you back when that is done. Alright guys, here's the pan. As you can see, the fluid in the pan is darker. It's still not terrible, but it has more wear on it. So we're going to go ahead and dump this. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. Okay. Alright. And we can take a look, see what kind of schmutz is in the bottom here.
That's a magnet.
Yeah, so this is the magnet that is, oh my.
Yeah, you got some clutch material down there.
Yeah, so this is the magnet that's supposed to catch clutch material as your transmission wears, because the clutches in it do wear. Even if you were to change the fluid all day, every day, it's still going to wear. Looks like this magnet hasn't been cleaned in a minute. So I'm going to clean that up. But I don't see a ton of schmutz floating around anywhere else in the pan. That looks really good. So overall, I'd say the pan fluid here is okay. Not sure what the inspection of the filter is going to bring me, but I'm going to clean up this magnet with a paper towel. And then we'll go after the filter. So a couple of talking points here. One is try to get your magnet. It does come out. It's just held onto the pan with, well, magnetism. So slide it out, get it as cleaned up as you can. The cleaner the magnet, the more material it can grab as it's swirling about as your transmission wears. So get that nice and clean. Also, if you take a wipe at the bottom of the pan, there's going to be a very thin layer of clutch material. So go ahead and wipe all that out, and you'll see that it shines up quite a bit. I've got this about where I want it. Depending on your application, I don't know if Ford used, I'm going to wipe this down too, but I don't know if Ford used cork gaskets originally in '01. This one, the transmission got rebuilt at some point per a recall, and the gasket that was on it was a more modern one, rubber one. So it came off real easy, nothing really to scrape. I can just wipe all this down for my gasket prep. But if you got a cork gasket, it's probably not going to come up clean. You're going to need some scraping materials, a carbide scraper or a razor blade or something that's going to let you clean that off to have a good sealing surface. But do be careful, because this is aluminum and it's soft and it will scratch easily. And you'll ding up your sealing surface if you're not careful. So I'm going to wipe this down, and then I need to wipe down its counterpart on the transmission. And we'll go ahead and after that we'll get the filter out and we'll go from there. Alright guys, here is our transmission filter. And you're saying, wait, you didn't show me how to pull it. That's true, I didn't. My tripod's broken. But this is only held in with friction. It's held in with the friction of this seal right here. So all you have to do is start wiggling it kind of up and down, side to side, just very gently. You'll feel it start to move and give, and just bring it down, and then it will pop out. Keep in mind, it's probably going to pee even more fluid once you do that, so keep your pan ready. And if you want to avoid a murder scene on your driveway. This one, the seal came out here. My brother has a similar truck but older, and when he did this seal was stuck inside the bottom of the transmission. So bear in mind, if you pull this out and there's no seal here, go look in your transmission, because when you go to do reinstallation, that's not going to work out well for you. So this is I got a part number, but I don't have a company name. So I'm not sure who made this. There's the actual filtering media right there. And I've never really looked at these or pulled these, so I can't really determine if this was clean or dirty or what, but it's out and I have a new one. So with that being said, this came from our local O'Reilly's, their house brand Power Torque. The kit number is FK180. It also lists out the filter from other manufacturers, or it could be the kit is a Pioneer gasket with a Fram filter. It very well could be that. But the kit includes a brand new filter with new filter media installed, a new gasket up here, there you go, and it's kind of curled up in the bottom down there, but it comes with a new pan gasket, which we will be using. So all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and grab this filter, and I'm going to wiggle it back in there, make sure that, and I'll probably just swipe some fluid from the bottom of the transmission or something, but you need to lube this seal before you try to stick it in. That way it'll go in easier, it's not going to fight you. And once we have this back in, then we will lay the new gasket over there on the pan, get that under, and then we'll just start getting some bolts back in. Alright, we're back in. Like I said, I just took some of those drips from the bottom of the transmission there, and I lubed the seal, and then I just started pushing and wiggling it back in. Again, the only thing holding it in is the seal, so you just kind of push it up until the filter is going to make contact with the bottom of the transmission, like so. Should be good. At this point, we're going to lay out our gasket on the pan, make sure it fits and the holes line up, and then we're going to put the pan back in and get this fella back together. Alright, so got my magnet back in, and I laid my gasket out. It looks good. So I'd say we are ready to proceed. I'm gonna, when I go to put these back in, I'm actually gonna just hold the extension plus socket, so I can just swirl a couple of these in by hand to hold the pan in place, and then I'll do them all loosely, and then we'll come in and make them tight. So let's get started on that. Okay guys, this is loosely in, and when you do, I'm gonna back you out. There we go. When you do put this up, make sure you're kind of hitting opposite sides so you can make sure the gasket is going to line up correctly and that the pan's going to seat correctly. If you just try to go in a circle, you potentially are going to run into issues with stuff being just enough out of line that it's going to fight you. So all of this is loose. I'm going to switch to a regular ratchet to do final tightening. Auto ratchets are great for getting you most of the way there or to get things out, but not so great for final tightening. So we're going to do that for all 20 odd bolts, and I'm just going to make them snug, not kill them. I don't know the specific torque value, but we're going to get that done, and then it's going to be time to proceed to filling. Okay, as a reminder, the fluid that needs to be used is what is today called Merc. Back in the day, it was called Mercon 3 or just Mercon. So you can still get it at the parts store. You can still get it online. This is what was available at Wally World, and the price was right. So I actually bought enough to do a complete drain and fill 3 times around to completely cycle out all the fluid. So the plan is we're going to do the fill for today, and then drive it, see how it does, put a few hundred miles on it, drain and fill it again, drain and fill it again. And at that point, we should have almost entirely new fluid. But just a reminder, Merc automatic transmission fluid, also known as Mercon 3 or Mercon. Alright guys, your dipstick, which is also going to be your fill port, is right there with the yellow cap. So what you're going to do is pull it out, and mine's a bit wiggly. And then what we did is we took this long black funnel and shoved it in the dipstick and then tilted it up. And I've poured in about 6 quarts of ATF, and we're trying to check the stick. And because it has so many turns in it and fluid is sticking everywhere, there we go. It's hard to tell where we are on the stick. We're pretty sure we're on it, but I think what we're going to need to do is start the vehicle, run it through the gears, get fluid moving around in the clutches and everything, and then check again to see where we are, to see if we need to top off. Because remember, I'm not doing a complete drain and fill. I can't get to the torque converter right now. Well, technically I can. It has a drain bolt, but I don't want to. I just take care of the pan, do it that way. So you're only going to get about a third or so of the total capacity of the transmission out when you drop the pan. So we're going to go ahead and fire it off, see what we get. Alright, we finished our test drive, and then we came out here and we checked the dipstick, and what we were finding is on one side we could get what looked like too much fluid, and then on the other side we only saw fluid at the very bottom of the stick where it curls into a loop. So did some experiments and figured out that depending on how you flipped the trans dipstick, meaning right now it's right side up, if you flipped it so the lettering was upside down, you would get the same result but on the opposite side of the stick, which let us know also the fact that we were scraping up some really scary looking fluid, that we were low. We had enough in there that the transmission didn't blow up on us and actually shifted really well, but we were low. So we went ahead and added another quart and a half. Total number of quarts that are now in is 7. And now we're waiting for the extra fluid that we just poured in to settle. And then we'll turn the truck back on and we'll check the fluid again as per the instructions that are stamped onto the dipstick tube. Not the tube, the actual dipstick. So if you pull the dipstick, there's going to be a short novel that is written on right down here.
Yeah, go the other way.
Oh, we had it.
That's upside down.
Yeah. So, see, there's a novel. It tells you where the fluid should be. It tells you how to check it.
Check in idling and park.
Check hot, idling and park, blah, blah, blah.
Focus.
So, that's what we need to do when we check. We're letting it settle, and then we'll turn the truck back on and check it again and see where we stand. Alright guys, turns out I needed to put in about 7.5 quarts, and that put us right in the middle of the crosshatch. So I'm going to keep that in mind whenever I do the next drain and fill. So with that, that brings this video to a close. Please leave a comment. If you got a comment, I like to read them, reply to them, and learn from them. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the fun YouTube stuff. And remember, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. I'll see you guys next episode.